Welcome back to the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. Now up for review today we have the Cupra Born. I'm sure most of you are well aware what Cupra is by now, but just as a quick refresher, Cupra used to make fast Seats. The larger Volkswagen group decided to separate it out into its own brand with a focus on performance and electricity and basically EV performance into the future. This is their small hatchback offering, the Cupra Born. Now I'm not a big fan of discussing looks because that's a matter of opinion and it's up to yourself, but I will say this is the first car in ages that I've had that has actually elicited a reaction from people. Good and bad. But you know what's worse than being talked about? Not being talked about. So I'd say that's a win. It gets people talking, it gets people thinking. Other cars are kind of just yeah. Before we go on, please do check out CarsIreland.ie for over 45,000 cars for sale here in Ireland. Click the link above. Right, let's get into it.
CarsIreland.ie. Click, click, vroom, vroom.
Now our test car comes in this very cool blue paint called Aurora Blue. It's about a €900 option, and these alloys are also an optional extra. 20 inches, they are chunky boys, and they cost about €1,000 extra. So the inside and practicality is pretty decent. The boot is 385 litres, which is on a par with the Volkswagen ID3. That is a car this is heavily based upon. The back is pretty decent too. I fit behind myself at 6 foot relatively comfortably. Now where the exterior may have divided opinion, I didn't quite get the same division on the interior. People really seem to like this interior. You would like to like copper or bronze because it is a feature of Cupra, and you do see it quite a bit here in the interior. So on the steering wheel, on the center console, bronze accents everywhere. Build quality is decent for the most part. I really wouldn't have any huge complaints. There's the odd bit of cheap plastic, but realistically the stuff you touch every day feels well built and feels of good quality. Standard equipment on the Cupra Born is really good. So included are features like the 12-inch touchscreen with navigation, sport suspension, LED lights, tinted windows, rear view camera, adaptive cruise control, wireless charging, front and rear parking sensors, rear view camera, heated steering wheel, heated front seats. You won't feel shortchanged basically. Our test car does have some extras fitted to it. So these very pretty bucket seats covered in, I'm guessing, fake Alcantara. They look really good, they are comfy, but they are a €1,300 option. Keep that in mind. You also get an augmented reality head-up display which costs about €1,000 as well. You have a small screen in front of the driver that actually moves with the steering column, which is very handy. Now the gear selector is up here on the right, which comes directly from the ID3 as well. I don't hate it, but I don't love it at the same time. In a very specific situation, so if you're reversing, you click it into reverse, you do your reverse, you have your right hand on the wheel, you're doing whatever you're doing. Then in a more standard automatic car, you change back to drive to whatever, correct what you were doing. But with this, you have to take your right hand off the wheel, kind of look, decide, twist it again, go again. It's a very specific situation, but it is a bit irritating. Now, dwelling on irritation, which is a strong point of mine, the touchpad on the steering wheel is a bit irritating as well. It really doesn't work too well. Some of the feedback on it is vague. The panel is just not great. It doesn't, like, it makes noises at you too, but it doesn't, you don't always hit, you're pressing a certain button and it doesn't always work. Bit irritating. Anyway, moving on to a tiny bit more irritation, the touchscreen. 12 inches, fair play, but it's tricky to use. It looks really well. I love the look of it. Love the colors, love the use of graphics, but it just doesn't work as well and as intuitively as you would like. And some of the functions that are built into it result in a lot more effort and fiddling around to figure out what you need done. I think in time you'd get used to it and it wouldn't be as big an issue as it is to someone who has the car for a week. But it's fiddly. Below the infotainment screen you have two touch panels as well, much like the steering wheel, where you control the temperature and the volume of the radio. I actually don't mind them after using them for a while. They're not that bad, but they aren't backlit at night so you can't see them. Not ideal at night. Moving down the center console, you have a roller, and underneath you have your two cup holders and a bit of storage space. You have wireless charging for your phone on a pad here, which I really like. I like the positioning of that. And you have some storage space under the armrest, two USB-C ports there, and also two in the back. The odd cheap bit, but like honestly nothing to really upset you without getting very picky. Now, price. So the test car is €42,000 all in. after your grants, so 47,000 euro before your grants. The starting price is in and around the 40,000 euro, and you can go all the way up to 55, I think even maybe pushing 60 if you really spec it out. So it is quite a lot of money for a small hatchback, but most EVs are quite expensive and this is no different. So the Cupra Born is touted as a bit of an electric hot hatch. So it has some of the ingredients that make a good hot hatch. 204 horsepower, you'll get to 100 in 7.3 seconds. It's rear wheel drive, it's got big chunky wide tyres, it's kind of square on itself, it's set low with sport suspension, and there's 310 Newton meters of torque instantly available because of electric motors. Anyway, getting into the nuts and bolts of it. It is rear wheel drive, as I said, and you do notice that. It's very satisfying as a rear wheel drive car. You do feel the push from the back. You do also feel like the tyres at the front are only doing the steering. They don't have the burden of power as well. So it is nimble and maneuverable despite its weight. The only thing is there's not a lot of feedback or feel. It's very light steering. Like, it's not bad around those corners, it's decent. It just doesn't quite capture the spark of a hot hatch. Still a good driver, and despite those 20-inch alloys that we were showing you earlier, it's actually relatively comfortable. The odd crash over bigger potholes or sharper bumps, but for the most part, comfort's really good. Now, range, obviously very important in an electric vehicle. So the model we have today has the 58 kilowatt hour battery. There is also a larger battery available with more power too, but the quoted range is 417 kilometers on a full charge. Now, when I picked it up, it had 100% charge and it was quoting, I think, 310, 309, something like that. And as we sit today, it is at 250 kilometers at 75%. So you can extrapolate from incomplete information there. Can the rear go? Yeah, just. It will go. Rear wheel drive and instant power, it will shift that back end a bit, but I wouldn't call it playful. Now, there are driving modes, naturally enough, so they are range, comfort, performance and individual. Pretty self-explanatory. So in performance, if we go in now, it just gets a tad bit more responsive, and maybe the noise is a bit louder. It's got good acceleration, like that mid-range punch is very impressive, like. And then within individual, you can pick the different things that you might prefer. So within steering, engine, air conditioning. Now, it will charge on a fast charger at up to 120 kilowatts, so 0 to 80% in 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the rate you can get from those fast chargers that aren't exactly everywhere here in Ireland yet. And that is the problem. The infrastructure is letting us down. Imagine the government. I think ultimately this is a very good car, and there are some complaints, but they're quite small. As an all-rounder, it's a very impressive little EV. The price is high, there's no getting away from that, but unfortunately that is pretty typical of most EVs now. It's an expensive place to get into. Ultimately, there's something about this car. It has a character that has gotten in on me over the week. I know it is just a Volkswagen product and it has a bloodline basically through the Volkswagen lineup, but I think Cupra have given its own spin to it and its own character that has gotten in on me over the week. It's an impressive little package, if somewhat expensive. And if you're in the market for a car, please do check out CarsIreland.ie on the link above and in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.